All right, back for another beer review, and today I'm reviewing yet another beer from Crafty Ales and Lagers, and they're out of Phelps, New York, and this is their Mackinac Blonde. So this is an American blonde ale that is brewed with Mackinac hops, comes in at 5.5% alcohol by volume, no IBUs listed in time of review. This Crowler is just under 2 weeks old. I want to give a huge thanks and shout out to a good friend of mine and a viewer of the channel, Dan, for hooking me up with this one. Thank you very much, Dan. Dan and I hung out at Other Half and Mortalis Brewing Company a little bit over, well, right around 2 weeks old, actually, just under 2 weeks old, because I think he picked these up on the day that we met up. And he hooked me up with a lot of different beer, and he gave me 2 Crowlers from Crafty Ales and Lagers. The first one I reviewed was their Phantasm, which was an Imperial Milk Stout with vanilla. Quite delicious. And he gave me this one. He's like, you make sure you drink it a little bit, let it warm up a little bit. So this has been out of the fridge for like 30 to 45 minutes, somewhere in that range. So we let it warm up a little bit. It's still, you know, relatively cool, but probably in the high 40s to around 50 degrees. And yeah, I'm quite interested to get into this one because this is an American blonde ale, like I said, brewed with Mackinac hops. Never have heard of Mackinac hops until now. So Dan was like, yeah, it's pretty good, unique beer. So yeah, I can't wait to get into it. I don't review a lot of American blonde ales on the channel. I've reviewed a couple, and doing one with Mackinac hops sounds quite interesting. So let's crack it open. Now, Crowler pours, as I've said before, I'm terrible with them. It's going to spill everywhere, and I don't care. It happens. Hang on. Did it happen? It did not happen. Hang on. Okay, I didn't spill it everywhere. There's a first time for everything. Didn't go everywhere. Oh, thankfully. Anyway, so yeah, this pours out like a beautiful blonde ale. It has a slight haze to it. Could be a chill haze, but has a haziness to it. Pours out like a deeper, darker, you know, pills are kind of like a blonde ale. So yeah, it has like a deep blonde color, like a dirty blonde color. Decent carbonation on it, about a finger and a half of this soap sudsy, slightly creamy looking white head. But that looks like, I mean, if you just look at it, sure, that looks like an American blonde ale. Sure, no doubt. Let's get a nose. Yeah, it smells like a blonde ale. It has like this crackery, more of a biscuity, like bready malt character to it. Little bit of like citrus. I was trying to say citrus zest, but I just combined the C and the Z. But yeah, citrus zest in here. Grapefruit, a little bit of orange. A touch of like melon too. Yeah, almost like a watermelon sensation, as opposed to like a honeydew or like a cantaloupe or something. More a honeydew. More watermelon. Slight pineapple and mango hints. That you know, that base blonde ale, the biscuity, bready type of note to this one. There's a touch of floral component really standing out. I feel like the Mackinac hops are just accentuating what is a solid blonde ale base. But yeah, it smells really refreshing and like it's gonna be easy to drink. So let's get into it. Cheers, everybody, and thanks again, Dan. Oh, yeah, you know what? Let me go back into this. If I was doing this blind, I would think there's actual like watermelon in here. I'm getting a huge, like, picture yourself eating a watermelon. You get through all the red part, the fleshy part, and you get to like the white part of the inside of the rind. That's kind of what I'm getting in this one. This is drinking like a watermelon blonde ale. So biscuity, bready, right up front. The mouthfeel on this one is what you'd expect from a blonde ale. Super crisp and clean, effervescent, lots of spritzy carbonation. The body on this one at 5.5%. It's like lower side of medium body, higher side of light body. Perfect. But yeah, that has like rindy melon component to it. Like you could even say honeydew or cantaloupe as you're getting closer to rind, but I say more watermelon. There's a floral component to this one as well. That zesty citrus vibe, the orange and the grapefruits here. Very subtle though, subdued. The finish is slightly dry, more of a residual sweetness. Low to moderate bitterness, very low bitterness on this one, kind of what the style dictates. As you see, I'm just shaking this down, though. I'm really enjoying it. It's super refreshing, even though at the time of reviewing this, it's late October, and it still was like 50-something degrees outside. This would be a great beer, basically summer beer, or like early fall, or let's say late spring. If you like American Blonde ales and you want an American Blonde ale that has a nice take on a blonde ale, this one's for you. The Mackinac hops they're different. That watermelon, like that watermelon rind component is really weird. And I'm sure a lot of people won't even get that in this and just be like, your palate soup. And I'll be like, it totally is. But for me, it has such a nice characteristic to it. Zesty citrus, watermelon rind, a touch of like a mango pineapple thing too, but more to that watermelon than anything. 5.5%, really can't taste any alcohol or anything. Yeah, well made. Listen, when it comes to American Blonde ales, for me, they're not one of my favorite styles, so I'll give this 2 ratings. So the Mackinac Blonde from Crafty Ales and Lagers, I'm going to give this stylistically, if you're talking about American Blonde ale with Mackinac hops, probably a high 4, low 4.25, somewhere in like the 4.1, 4.15 out of 5 range. For me personally, though, I'm going to give this a high 3.5 out of 5 and go 3.6 out of 5. I think it deserves a 3.5, almost getting a 3.75 range. It's good. I would happily drink this again. No really issues with it. And yeah, it's an American Blonde ale with Mackinac hops. There's not a lot of complexity here, but again, that's not what the style is intended for. The style is intended for a drinking beer. American Blonde ales, you just want to crush a bunch, 5.5%. You could drink this Crowler. I'm going to drink this Crowler. Have no issues throwing this back. Should be relatively easy to take down, and I'll have a good time doing so. So yeah, pretty good beer. 3.6 out of 5 for Mackinac Blonde from Crafty Ales and Lagers. Thanks again to Dan for hooking me up with this one. Value and availability. This is where I guess Dan has to chime in. I think I forgot to mention the value and availability in the last one. I don't know, maybe I did. But I would imagine the value on this one, if this Crowler is more than like 10 to 12 bucks, that's tough. You're talking about, if it's over 12 bucks, you're talking about, if this was in a 16-ounce can, $6 a can of this, no. But this should be probably in the $10, $12 range, I'd say. If it's higher than that, then I don't think the price point is good. If it's lower than that, then it's awesome. But it's somewhere in that range, I'm okay with it. Availability, I think Crafty Ales and Lagers is like a small nano brewery, or definitely a small brewery, so you probably can get their stuff on draft. Definitely can get them in Crowlers at the brewery, but I don't know if their stuff makes it in a distro. So Dan, value and availability, I would really appreciate you letting me know about that. And I appreciate everybody stopping by for another PaTroll, a beer review. It was a lot of fun doing this one. And thanks again to you, Dan, for hooking me up. And thanks to everybody for stopping by. To the next one, cheers.